whenever you want to be here, whenever you here. You can sit wherever you want. I think we can do whatever we squashed in here.
What it says is essentially, we want to.
Yes.
I mean, I know there's times we were able to push it to them, but, yeah.
No.
The schools would have to be part of their money they give to the state to cyber private. Seems now more and more of their budgets. So that raises their school.
Right? So, okay.
Philadelphia prevailing wage here. We couldn't pay any quarter.
Well, good morning, everyone. Please rise and join us as we pledge allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Bostic,
Here.
Mr. Jackson.
Here.
Mr. Barlow.
Public comment period.
I wish more people would have showed up.
Okay. Comment noted.
I'd like to make a comment with referring to the budget. I make a suggestion that we raise the budget taxes to 1 mil and everybody in the room don't have to pay.
Comment recorded.
Otherwise, I don't want the taxes raised.
If there are no other comments, we will move on. None? Okay. Under supervisor comments, I would first like to state that we had an executive session this morning starting at 10 a.m. And we just concluded at 11, probably 1 minute after 11.
We probably should state what, in the executive session, we discussed personnel matters, specifically the chief, and also the claims against the,
Former secretary.
well, against the bond companies as a result of the former secretary actions.
Yes, those are my comments. And I called PennDOT about picking up the dead deer that's on Orchard Road by mailbox, not far from mailbox number 328, and they said they'd get right on it. So
Thank you for calling because someone called me already and I was going to call. So thank you for letting us know that you called.
all right. Sometimes when they're out in the middle of the field or something like that, they can decompose. The buzzards will take care of them, but that close to a house, I think that something should have been done, and I did it. So.
The game commission has a contract with somebody to pick them up. If you call them, they have a company that picks them up.
Who's that?
Game
Game
commission.
Yeah.
Okay. Mr. Jackson, any comments?
Yeah, a couple. First of all, I'd like to announce that this is the end of your police chief's probation period, and she kind of made it smoothly through the probation period. Now a regular person.
Nice.
Congratulations and keep
Thank
up the
you.
good work.
Thank you.
Couple, just relatively minor. I go to this COG stuff, Council of Governments, and they're in there representing all of our municipalities, and they do a pretty good job, I think, although they're not very effective usually because they can't get the legislature to budge very much. Well, the legislature takes forever to do anything, but what they've done is they've put together some resolutions to support our elected representatives in fighting for what we want to see. And they're going to have a meeting this Thursday, and have asked us to approve a few resolutions. There's quite a few of them, but there's only 3 that come up this week, and I'm, rather than read the lengthy document, what I'll do, just in a few words, explain what they are. And if anybody has, if there are no objections, I'll go ahead and sign them and send them in as our collective opinion. The first one is cyber charter schools. There's an increase in the number of private schools. I don't know why they're all called cyber, but I guess some of them are. But the parents don't feel they're getting a proper cyber education. They're starting their own school, and they're required by law to take public funds away from the public schools to support them, and the public schools don't like it, and it results in a tax increase for individuals who have to support the cyber schools now with private schools in addition to the public schools. So they're objecting to that. And they haven't stopped. People want to have a private school, they want to pay for it privately. That's resolution number 1. Resolution number 2 is local radar. For 10 years, we've been trying to get the authority to go ahead and use radar in our local municipality. I believe we're the only state out of 57 states that require, that don't have radar rules. So it's about time. We've been arguing about it, and the COG is in favor of it. They want to let our legislators know. Unfortunately, the devil's in the details. If one of the rules right now would be considered is they'll allow us to use radar if we have a 24-hour police force. And I mean, so it's ridiculous. If it's passed in its present form, it won't do us any good anyway. But at least it's a step in the right direction. And so that's one of the resolutions that we're making, that we support the idea of using radar for local speaking. And the third is the prevailing wage. Any project over 25,000 has to require us paying prevailing wage, which is determined by Philadelphia and Pittsburgh, and it's probably more than 4 times what the normal local rates are here. And so it's costing us very heavily to build any public buildings, schools, bridges, everything like that. And so there's an objection to that we should not have to pay prevailing wage to support the efforts in the larger cities. Those are the 2 resolutions, and we'll plan on Thursday to submit a approval of a resolution unless anybody objects. There's a supervisor from Patriots.
Do we need to make a motion for those?
I don't think we do.
Can I ask you a question? Are you just voting on these act calls, so you're asking for the township support, but we're not passing them here at the township?
No.
No.
You're just voting.
What I'm saying, the COG is going to have a vote of support for these programs, and they want everybody to sign a resolution saying we're on board.
Gotcha.
And so, as I said, the details certainly aren't explained in these resolutions.
The only thing that's concerning is the cyber school part of that.
Yeah.
The argument that the parents and the cyber school people have is they pay tax dollars to their local school district. And if they want to send their kids to a private school, they still have to pay their tax dollars to the local school, but then they have to pay privately for their education. So they want their tax dollars to go to the cyber school. And so I'm not in disagreement if that's what they choose to do, because they should be able to choose when they want to send their kids. If they want to send them to private school, if they want to send them to public school, and if their tax dollars, it's their tax dollars, they should be able to say, well, you know what, I'm going to do this, and my tax dollars should go to the cyber school. This here is like, no, you pay theirs.
That is part of the discussion, and I don't know how, as I said, the details, I don't know how it will work out. But right now, there are more and more special schools being privately sponsored, and the money's coming from the public school
Because
system.
we got people also advocating that if you don't have children in the school district, you don't pay school taxes, which I can see that point too, so they got to generally point the same way as these people here do. But I don't know that that's something.
Yeah, what you said.
Well,
Yeah, what you said.
What you said, no, I don't have kids in school, but I'm paying them through the nose for school tax. I drive on the roads.
all right, well,
I gotta pay for fuel tax. I mean, that's cyber school.
I've got to decide whether to put it in the resolution or not, so do we support their efforts?
I'll support the other two, I don't typically support the cyber school one right at the moment, because I don't know how they're gonna work that out.
Neither does anybody else.
I know, that's why I don't support it, because I don't know how that's gonna work out.
Well,
You can't support something you don't know what the outcome's gonna be.
I'm on the fence with that.
Can I make a comment?
pardon?
It would seem to me that if people that had kids in cyber school were allowed not to pay the school tax, the school funding needs don't change. So that means everybody else's taxes are going up.
Yeah, but their kids, why are they paying for somebody else's kids?
Well, but my point is, that's another consequence to just consider. It's a fact that,
And I don't have none of the details.
that cost to run public schools has to flow up from people. If it's a small number of people doing cyber school, it probably wouldn't be this noise and you wouldn't notice it.
But it's not, and that's
Significant.
important, because that's not.
If it's significant,
Okay, well, I've got two of you who think we should not interfere or have an opinion on cyber schools. And I'll leave that one out, the other two.
I found that one, absolutely.
Okay.
I'll support the other two.
Okay, and that was the end of my comments.
All right. Thank you. Mr. Barlow?
I don't have any comments.
All right.
Well, I do actually, I'm sorry. I do want to congratulate Terry.
Thank you.
You're doing a great job. Everybody who's been, has talked to me has been very pleased with what's going on with you. So, congratulations on that. And your full-time employment.
Thank you.
Well, we'll be taking a vote on that later on, under new business. But I share your comments. I agree with that comment. Take it back.
Joe?
Well, I told us, well, maybe you're not going to be full-time, I'll take it back.
Oh,
Pending the votes.
Penny.
All right, moving on to expenses. Has the board reviewed the invoices from November 7th through November 19th? And if so, do I have a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve our invoices for that time period.
I'll second the motion.
Okay, thank you. Motion made and seconded. All in favor? Aye. Has the board reviewed payroll from October 27th through November 9th?
I also did review the payroll and make a motion that we retroactively pay them.
And I will second that motion.
Okay, thank you. Motion made and seconded. All in favor? Aye. Township reports. Brian, road department?
I only have one thing. I reached out to our backup snowplow drivers, see if we still had any support for this year. I've called 3 people. I got, unless Wendy's heard something from them, I got 1 response, and that was from Hobbs. So it's pretty much the same as last year. They just changed the date on it for this year, the same contract as last year.
I noticed this fellow that's right, I think it's McNair, who used to have a business off of the old Emmitsburg Road, and now he's over here on 140. He's got plow rigs lined up big.
Yeah, he does for the state. He works for the state.
Okay. So he doesn't do emergency.
Well, they may, I don't know if they have a second, Hobbs does the state as well, I mean, but I've contacted Seth, that's worked here before, he apparently didn't turn anything in. And I told him we had to have it for a meeting today, and the young fella that bought our truck, he does snow removal, and he said he was gonna turn something in, but I didn't see it, so.
Oh. Well, maybe something come.
So we got the one from Hobbs at least, so at least they're still on board if we need them.
Okay, that's good to know.
Pretty much all I got.
Okay. Secretary Treasurer? Wendy?
All right, I got a call from the Census Bureau, and they want to hold census training in the township, and they want to know if they can use the building.
On what day?
I would have to look and see and schedule it with them, but I just wanted to get your permission before even trying to schedule if you're okay with the Census Bureau using the township building for census training.
No problem.
I'm in favor of it.
I'm in favor of it.
All right, let's put a motion for that.
All right, I make a motion that we approve the Census Bureau's use of the building for census training.
Question? Can we get money out of it?
Is that a serious question?
Yeah, I mean, it's federal
I
government.
just wonder if I'm.
Didn't the federal government got a budget for conducting the census?
They're hiring people for $15.50 an hour.
That's why I got an orange hat. I don't get shot.
It's kind of the same reason I didn't sign up.
Exactly. Or I got arrested on
I'll
trespass.
second it.
Motion made and seconded, all in favor? Aye.
Thank you.
Richard gets me sidetracked.
I got a call from Washington Township last week replying to our letter. As you remember, we voted at the last meeting to object to their zoning change. They said that they weren't gonna send a letter out, but they acknowledged our letter and they wanted to call me and let me know that since then, they're not gonna move forward with that zoning change. It was the Renfrew Park actually submitted the request for the change and they've since withdrawn the request. So they wanted to reply to that. In response to Raven Rock, I contacted them, as you know, through a letter and requested that they confirm an informal maintenance agreement for Cove Hollow Road, and they did reply, and I have a copy of the letter, I'll give that to all of you. They replied and they said included in Cove Hollow, they wanted to respond, including part of Hartwell Valley Road, which they also maintain. And they agree, as you can see in the letter, to maintain the roads with us going along. Yes, with us continuing to do the mowing. But they do note on there that they will be doing snow plowing and down tree clearing as necessary for them, and there should be no expectation of a timely removal that might be expected by the public for school buses or other access. They just wanted to note that. So they won't be out there thinking about school bus times to get the roads clean.
They also noted that mowing is not considered necessary for safe use of the road or access.
Right.
But they note that we will be responsible for the mowing.
We said that in our letter to them.
And now they also want the back entrance attended to as well, correct?
They do specific, they don't care if we mow or not, it's basically what
If I
they're
remember
saying. Mowing is
correctly.
needed, that we need to do it.
If I remember correctly, that's mostly residents on the other side, there's not a lot. There's not a lot
A
that
little
we
bit down there by the intersection, it's it.
Okay.
They're not requesting us to mow, they're saying if that's part of maintenance, it's our responsibility. But they also say, as you see at the very end, if anybody contacts them, any residents, property owners, they're gonna direct them to us so that we can work together with Raven Rock to resolve it. They won't be dealing with them directly without our software.
Okay.
I wanted to address a catering meeting we went to, I think that was last week. As you recall, the tax collector did also attend that meeting. And at the time, she requested that she be paid $50 for her attendance. And I wanted to give everyone this section of the Township code book, which does read to me that she's entitled to collect $50 for her attendance plus any mileage for attending. As you see here, the way I read it, 1401B, and maybe the solicitor can clarify that, it doesn't seem that she needed permission to go, even though we did give her permission to go. It encourages attendance from tax collectors, managers, solicitors, engineers, treasurers, and secretary. It says shall attend the convention if possible. So I would ask the board to consider that and maybe solicitors input on the meaning of the code.
Well, if there are no other comments, I make a motion we approve payment of $50 to our tax collector.
I'll second it. It says pretty clearly in here that she's entitled to it.
Yeah, it says solicitor too, I never go. Shall attend the convention when possible, I guess it's not
It's
possible.
a really lively party you
No,
missed.
yeah, I bet.
It's fun.
You don't know what you're missing.
Do you,
No.
Hey, I got some candy out of it.
No dinner?
Well, yeah, we got some dinner too.
did she get, I guess she got the certificate?
She did, I was informed, she did.
I got the certificate too.
I know, so you could actually ask her.
What, I see you also have mileage highlighted there. Does,
She will have to submit an expense report for those items if she
Okay.
wants, and I sent her an email regarding that. Now, I attended as well, but I will, if you read further down, because I'm an employee of the township, I don't get $50 because you actually paid me my hourly
Yeah,
rate
you
for my
agree.
attendance. So I already received payment for attending.
Okay.
The motion's been made and seconded.
Yeah. We're voting.
Yep, motion made and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. And the last thing on my list is for the newly elected supervisor. Now, we talked at Cato, PSAT's representative was there, and he talked about upcoming boot camp training for sitting supervisors and newly elected supervisors. And the way the boot camp training works is to get around that sticky business of, because some of the boot camp is before the person takes off in January, they go ahead and bill you in January. But there are several upcoming trainings other than the boot camp that are of interest to the newly elected supervisor. And I didn't know how we could handle that, if we could, how we can move forward and sign them up for those things or not.
Fine. They talked about it last night, and the Boroughs Association has the same quandary,
Right.
and it's the same training combined, and they're giving a special discount for townships that want to participate, and I think it's $155 for a person to go.
But I think the issue is that you're saying that there's other seminars.
Right, there's
that you-
other webinars and things that are for training that are occurring in November and December.
I guess the question is, can we pay him, or do you want to pay him for attending those seminars when he's technically not a supervisor?
I'm asking that we pay for the seminar,
Just the
but not
class,
pay him.
not you.
No, that's what I mean.
Yes, oh yes, pay for the
Pay for
actual
the
training.
classes, pay for the seminar.
Yeah.
Well, I'm in favor of doing that. I mean, I'd like
Yeah, I'm
to
not
say,
sure if you
hit the ground running, and the longer he takes to learn all the complicated business of supervision, the more we're going to be disadvantaged, so
Look your brain there, see what it says.
assuming he wants to
Look
go.
your brain to see what it says.
Yeah, it's probably not gonna cover it, because nothing's coming to my mind.
Our general policy in the past is any kind of training that
Right,
we
it's
can get from
support.
any source, we ought to take advantage
Well,
of.
also too, because he is an employee part-time as he is, and employees are eligible for training.
Well, that's very, very creative, but I think it's yeah, I think that's, yeah.
Well, I think we ought to
Your
start,
brain is an employee.
we ought to start with his opinion as to whether he wants to go.
He does, I spoke to him
He's
this
the one
morning.
that submitted for it.
And there's one tomorrow, actually. That I will be donating $30 to if you don't pay for
You
it.
know who's conducting it?
What? It's
You know who's-
PSATs.
Pardon?
The PSATs training, just.
You know what person is conducting it?
No, why?
Dave Hazlett?
Oh, what are you talking about? I'm talking about the training for tomorrow.
Yeah, these-
I'm
they
talking
have some-
about the one you brought up before.
No, the boot camp that I was talking
The
about,
boot
that's,
camp.
the boot camp he's attending is in Enola.
Yeah, this is like doing boot camp for townships. He's doing boot camp for boroughs associations.
But they're all very
They're all
similar.
combined.
Yeah.
But it's not.
Each side's doing great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's Borough Association and the Township Association and PSATs, I guess, three organizations. The Borough Association and the Township Association are combining, and Dave Hazel is conducting the course. Not that that's bad or good.
There's just a lot of different.
The one in Anola is not anything I know anything about.
That's called the boot camp,
Boot camp.
and it's run by PSATs. It's for new supervisors and city supervisors as a refresher.
Well, I don't know, this says here, authorize attendance at conferences, institute, schools, and conventions. Any supervisor, elected or appointed officer or township employee, whatever you say, employee, it says elected, so he's an elected officer.
Yes, he is.
Not, it does say any supervisor. So it might even come under that, section 6074. Yeah, I'm not.
Well, I'm in favor of it.
All right, can you
I'll
just
make
get
a motion that we pay boot camp for our rookie.
Consider upcoming trainings, can I extend beyond the boot camp, because it's gonna take some webinars. So upcoming trainings related to his office.
Second.
Thank you.
Okay, motion made and seconded, all in favor?
Now, on that topic, are you going to get copies in our zoning ordinance, second-class township code?
I'll make sure he has all of that, is that what you're asking?
And the municipal, well, our zoning, I think, is one subdivision, maybe.
He got the code books because Dan Mile brought them.
Oh, he has them? Okay.
Yeah, I had Dan Mile bring them to a code meeting and I gave it to him then.
All right, well, municipalities planning code, second-class township code, and the public officials ethics act.
Okay.
Those are the ones you should have.
All right, that's in my report, thank you.
Sherry, we don't have, police chief report on here, but you're welcome to give one.
I don't
Get prepared.
think there's a whole lot going on right now, just answering calls and still doing speed enforcement and truck enforcement and that sort of thing, so.
I think the truck traffic on Orchard and Boyle Road is,
And I just
Definitely.
cited another one last week, so
I see less and less of them, so.
that's a good thing, I guess, maybe the word's getting out.
Yeah, I think it is.
Good.
Well, thank you for modifying your schedule so that you can be here today.
No problem.
All right, with no other reports, we move on to old business. As Mr. Lisco mentioned, we had a phone conversation concerning the treasurer bond claim with our new attorney firm, the leader of our new attorney, and we're still working on that. So nothing much else to report there. Consider advertising proposed 2020 budget.
So, you ready to go through the budget?
Yep. I guess we-
Wait, whoa.
Wait, what?
You're looking at me like
We're 16.
yeah, okay. I thought you were looking at, I was thinking, is he thinking we're doing the zoning ordinance? I don't know, I'm saying, like,
No, you said, where are we, so.
I'm still at home. apparently.
No one answered, so I thought, you know.
All right, so yes, we have to come to a single budget one so we can advertise.
Do you want me to go through the budget and cite the lines that are in obvious
Yes,
disagreement?
I think so. We'll call for
Good idea.
discussion and motion, and then we'll try to move forward clear. and
Okay.
get in place.
Well, I will bypass for the moment, the proposed tax increase, because that will be resolved by the discussions we have, the following discussion. All right, and I think we should bypass the transfer from Pliggett General Reserve Fund to see what we finally vote for in the way of a tax increase before we address that. So moving on to elected auditors. That is section 4, and the payment of elected auditors. That is section 402.11. I'm going to recuse myself at this point, and if you gentlemen want to give an increase, that is fine with me.
I'll make a motion that we include $1,000 for elected auditors in the upcoming year.
Second.
Made and seconded?
Okay. Motion made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
And I recuse myself from voting.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
I didn't get the election results. You recused yourself because Katie got reelected?
No, because she's a family member, it's a conflict of interest for me.
Well, that means she got reelected.
Oh, yeah. didn't you?
Okay, that's all. Just curious, because we got a meeting tomorrow.
She'll be here.
If you quit, so you won't be.
No, I mean it this time.
Better dig out your abacus and be ready.
John, one comment I would like to make about it. We've, gone through the subject of auditing and learned that our professional auditors don't pass judgment on many things having to do with irregular activities. They only going to do the formal bookkeeping. And oversight of our operations here is really important. And the best people to do it, in my opinion, are the township taxpayers like you who come in here. And you know the people, you know the problems, you know the subjects. And, so I think
That's why I quit.
the what?
That's why I quit.
Resignation not accepted. The more we have input from local auditors, the better off I think we are. And so we'll put a little extra money in there, but I'm going to continue to pursue the idea of more hours and more people devoted to local participants in the audit. And that's just my opinion. That's our best way to try to forestall any embarrassing activities that go on. End of my comment.
Okay, next line that has some disagreement is supervisors' support. This is for solicitors, solicitor support for supervisors. And comments?
Well, I would like to keep our costs under control as much as we possibly can. And I think $20,000 is a lot more than we paid in the good old days. And we needed some extra money this past year. But I'd like to make a motion that we have a budget of $20,000 for the upcoming year for legal support.
I'll second that motion. Any other conversation?
Nope.
No. Motion made and seconded. All in favor?
I'm just curious, what was it that last year?
It's 20,000.
Oh, so you say, yeah. Well, hopefully, you know, this costs a lot. Hopefully, maybe we're nearing the end of the road on that one.
I think we are.
Yeah, and so that should help.
Okay.
I didn't hear the vote. I just heard the first, motion and second. Did you hear the vote?
Well, I don't know if we had a vote.
Oh,
I think we all.
I think it was all aye, they all voted aye.
We all voted aye. I don't know,
He
maybe.
voted aye.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
And just for the future, and I mean, maybe the supervisors know this, silence is a yes.
Oh, good to know. Thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they taught us that in PSAS training, that if you don't vote on an issue, it's the same thing as voting for it.
Is that the
Yeah.
same as at home?
No, not at home. No, as a matter of fact, at home, silence is almost always a no, a big no. At least it is around my home.
Okay, next line of disagreement is secretary wages. Our reason for holding the number at $40,510 per year, because that is the actual amount times that we pay our current secretary, treasurer, by the hour for 36 hours a week. And I was, the offer to have a little more money in there in case overtime is needed or something like that. We had that money there before, let's just say it got abused before we caught track of it. So, since we're just discussing hourly wages, Wendy thinks that,
Don't give me,
Don't
I did
quote
not,
you.
don't quote me, I don't know what you're talking about.
well, I was gonna quote you out, you think you 36 hours a week is fair.
We've never had this discussion.
Okay.
I mean, as a group.
Uh,
I'm currently working on an average of 35 to 36 hours.
uh-huh.
I can speak.
Well, I don't agree with that, John, or at least I have a different point of view. I think that the concern is that if we put in a budget of 36 hours and she works 40, we'll be right back to the same track that we got into with the former secretary treasurer. In other words, anything work over and above that will be construed as some sort of connivery on the part of the employee. I don't think that would necessarily be true, but it's possible. But the second and more important reason, I think, that we shouldn't reduce the budget, the whole operation here really revolves around our secretary treasurer. She keeps track of all the things that we're supposed to be overseeing and does a pretty good job of it. And to have this all in one hand, and I'm the deputy, and I can't even turn on a computer. So I'm ill-equipped to be backup for the secretary treasurer. And I think down the road, what we ought to do is to try to find a second person to be able to back up Wendy and use those extra hours, maybe on a minimal basis, but to begin with, have somebody in here who can learn the ropes and be able to function in the event that she's needed. And I think Wendy went in and talked about that in the past, having some sort of a backup person who knows how to do QuickBooks and that sort of thing. I think a good way to start it is leave that money in the budget and start casting around for some possible way that we can fill that role on. Just as a precaution against the future when we might need that. Somebody who knows the system other than one person in the township.
Okay,
So that's my reason.
well, I can support that argument.
And I'll make a recommendation that we approve the budget of $45,000, which is what was last year, same as last year.
It's not
No.
since last year.
It's an increase.
Because we gave me
I
an
mean,
increase in
that's,
August.
well, I'm sorry.
I just want that to be clear.
You're right, we proposed the budget as it's stated here, which includes an increase that you got last year.
So,
So that's a motion.
45,052.
My question is, this is not necessarily Wendy's,
It's just for the secretary.
it's for the secretary position.
For secretary position.
I'll second it.
okay,
Made and seconded.
motion made and seconded, all in favor? Aye.
Can I ask, does this increase reflect an hourly rate? And you're talking about hours and hourly, right? And now, Is this strictly additional hours?
Well, it would be additional hours for a second person.
Right now, it's the current hourly rate times 2,080.
That's the 40,000.
That's
That's 40 hours hourly.
Nothing's-
And
That's
that's what I'm
not
saying, that
fair.
we may,
It's just a number, so.
if she continues to work less than 40 hours, the budget will show we're saving a little money, and we'll find some use to spend that extra money if we can find somebody who
I'm
can.
not debating the number, I just, because it could be construed two different ways. The increase.
No, it's like Bob said, an hourly rate times,
So you
2,080 hours a year.
To make things clear, her salary's not being set by the budget. Her salary will be set at the reorg meeting at an hourly rate of whatever it is, $21 per hour. So if she works, let's make it easier, $10 per hour. So if she works 35 hours that week, she would get paid $350, even though the budget might have $400 in there. She won't get paid by the budget. Does that help any?
Yeah, I was just kind of curious when we would address hourly rate.
Yeah, and just like they budgeted 20,000, hopefully next year, maybe I'll only bill them 10,000. And that's all they would pay me is 10, not the 20. It's just, this is kind of like when you do your household budget, you know, on food, $200, well, you know, if you go on a diet, then you know, so, you know.
Okay. Moving on. Next item, next line shows variance of amounts between the three supervisors.
That's the subject of the,
Yeah, road crew seasonal wages. Road crew seasonal wages, that's the line. Number 4304.14. Okay, Mr. Barlow, can you explain?
Yeah, my $6,000 is for part-time employees to help Brian during the summer to do their work. That's the bottom line. If Brian doesn't have the help, Brian can't do it.
But what did you say about $6,000?
$6,000.
Well,
That would come out to like we had before, in years past, when we had about approximately two part-time employees in the summertime. That was about what their wages were. Actually, at three. It'd be about $3,000 each for the summer.
I'm afraid I didn't follow that.
yeah, I'm having trouble too.
The thing is Brian, if we need road work to be done, we need part-timers to help Brian, because Brian he can't run a backhoe and be in the ditch at the same time.
Oh, I understand.
So we need part-timers to help him. And one man can't get the job done. So that's what that is, for seasonal employees.
Well, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I think that part of it would be covered by our road work budget that we're talking about, which is on the front pages of this budget.
Well, it's a line item.
It's a line item, and I think it should be covered under our.
It should be, but it's in our budget,
Liquid fuels budget. We're going to talk about expenditures on roads. We've talked about it some already, but I would think that would be covered.
Well, that's what my reasoning is for that.
Okay, well, my motion is $3,000 for road crew seasonal wages, as we have done in the past.
I'll second that. Motion made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye. I think the other parts down there are the transfers
Yeah.
from one
To
account
balance
to
the
another.
budget.
They're not just to balance the budget. I think we're back to the top of the page.
Tax increase,
Tax increase.
that's what big income.
Is that what it's
We've had this discussion amongst the public before about proposals for tax increases versus proposals for no tax increase.
You know, during the previous discussions, I have not made my opinion clear. I've listened to arguments in favor of 0 tax increases and 1 mil tax increases, which are at opposite ends of the spectrum. And I will make my opinion clear as I can right now. I think that taxes are a very large concern of a large number of taxpayers who unfortunately aren't here to represent their point of view today, but I think it would be a mistake to make that large a tax increase at one time. And last year we had the same problem. We had very little tax increase and a big tax increase. And one of our participants suggested a compromise of a eighth of a mil tax increase. And we agreed that we would have an eighth of a mil last year. It didn't come out exactly to the penny that way, but it was very close to eighth of a mil. And we would do it for the next 4 years. Now, we can't make obligations for 4 years ahead, but we did make it last year at this time, or this past year. And I'm proposing that we do the same thing again. Follow through with our discussion that we had last year and make a compromise. Tax increase between 0 and 1 mil and make it 1/8 of a mil with the expectation that we'll probably have to do it again next year. So my motion is to accept a 1/8 of a mil tax increase on this year's upcoming budget.
Well, again, I've stated my opinion for the township and for the reason for the $1 increase. But also made it very clear too that I was open to suggestions. I think for $18,238 is not going to help this township do our roads. And if we want to maintain the roads as a township, we are obligated to do for one. And we want to maintain our police department, and we want to give the residents what they ask for, more coverage, then we have no choice except to do some kind of tax and police. And the alternative to that is if we don't, then that's fine, going forward, then we will have to cut expenditures when we need to cut expenditures to bring our budget in line. And unfortunately, if we don't have the money to fix our roads, then we don't have money to have employees for the roads. I mean, I can't see why we would spend $60,000 a year to have a full-time employee in the road department, and we don't have the money to fix the roads, so why are we spending that money for a person to be there if they ain't got any work to do? That's the same with our police department. If we don't have the money to support our police department, then I guess we have to look about getting rid of our police department, or at least cutting it back, way back. Because we can't continue to run on a 20-year budget. We just can't do it. Or even a 15-year budget, it was another 15 years ago. And that's exactly what we've been doing, is we've been running on a 15-year-old budget, at least a 15-year-old budget. And expenses are going up, cost of labor is going up, roads need repaired. We have a whole list of roads. You guys have seen the roads that need repaired. If you don't want to put any money in the roads, that's fine. We don't have to put money in the roads, but we don't need an employee either. Because why would we pay an employee if we're not going to do anything on our roads?
I think the two subjects are entirely separate.
No, they're not. How would they entirely separate if you don't have any?
I'm telling you, that's my opinion.
Well, it might be.
I understand your opinion, understand your point of view, and we still, under that plan and the discussions we've had about this proposed tax increase, we still have $75,000 left to be able to put into roads this year. Under your proposal, we would have $200,000 to put into the roads, and the total budget we have that we're looking at for the roads, including all the projects we can possibly have, we have $651,000 if we do Fetcher Road, the expensive way for the 300,000 if we do Petro Road, the,
Actually, Bob,
actually.
we actually, in our last meeting, we dropped some of those things. Our proposed budget for roads for 2020 is $220,500. Not $651,000 is if we fix all the roads that need attention right now.
My intention was not to put down what we plan to do, but put down all the possible ways we could, and we would, after we decide on the tax increase, go back and decide which one of these we should adopt using either 56,000 if John's zero budget increase goes through, 75,000 if the one I'm proposing goes through, or 205,000 in case yours goes through. And my option and my motion is to pick the intermediate figure, compromise figure of an 8 increase.
I would be most certainly open-minded enough to go to half a million and not 8, because we're not getting nothing done in 8 million. $18,000 doesn't generate anything, nothing.
Okay, I understand your point of view, I don't agree with it. As far as the condition of the roads are concerned, I don't think there's any, they're not smooth, super highway type quality roads, but that's not the kind of township we live in. We live in a rural agricultural township, and the roads, they are bumpy, but I don't think they're in danger of falling apart.
Well, they are in danger from Parker Barn, and I just went over to fix one, we temporarily patched it,
Good.
only because of up to the next year, it is temporarily patched, it had a big hole in the middle of the road. It was falling apart.
Good
It was
idea.
falling apart.
I agree, a big hole ought to be patched. Anyway, we've gone over and over and over, and we've been trying to get people to come in here and express their
And
opinions.
they have, they said they want the roads fixed, they said they wanted the police department.
Yeah.
Well,
What is
so
it,
is that-
what is it we heard?
This is what I heard.
I don't want to interject. I think the township is apathetic. This means, who's ever watching the videotape on the interweb, okay? They're not here, okay? My pure, simple fact of the matter is, I agree with Walter about fixing the roads. I really do. But for my own personal finances, you're talking about budgets, I don't agree with increasing the taxes. I can go for another year. If the road on Winshaw becomes a hole, it's not a hole, it's a canyon, okay? If that bridge culvert goes, that's it. There's only one way out of the way from my house, not two. And the fire department ain't gonna come there any faster. And this is the road I live on. And the people I've talked to on my travels, I can name names also, that say they don't want the taxes increased because of the roads, everybody's satisfied with the roads. I listened to the Irishtown Road people saying, well, don't, just patch the roads, I don't need any super paving. I've heard Agatha talking about she wants a speed limit sign, and I'm saying this, like, I'm repeating myself, that's all. I'm here to say my piece. I don't want any taxes going up. If they go up, I understand you guys are wringing your hands trying to come up with an answer to this, and that's why I didn't run for supervisor. Because I'm not going to be up there on that table making these decisions. I got enough problems being an auditor. Point I'm trying to make, you asked me, as a resident and taxpayers, whatever you guys do, I'm going to pay the tax. And I'll be one of the first people to write the check and get it to Natalie. But if you want my opinion, I don't want to pay it. And so also are the people that I've talked to. I'm not a representative of them, I'm just saying, bouncing around, talking to the neighbors. And they can't come here. So, well, I'm speaking for more people than myself, but whatever you guys decide, I agree with. Because each one of them have a valid point. I can't help you with your decision other than speak my mind. like you guys are, each one of you. I disagree with raising taxes to the point where I like the police department, but I'll drive slow on roads. Okay?
Okay, thank you.
Well, as I look at the numbers more and more, I see a need for a tax increase. As I've stated before, I haven't buried my head in the sand. But I know rules allow for a second tax increase when the new supervisor takes office. And so, erring on the side of caution, I have proposed a zero tax increase, but in order to get this budget resolved and passed, I would concede to the 1/8 mil increase.
Just as far as the money goes, if 162 reflects a 1 mil increase, a 1/8 mil would be 20,288. The number we have there is using that.
The
0.11, which is
1125.
not an 8.
Right, it's what they passed
Yeah.
last
So if you actually want it to be an 8.
Well, that's what we have proposed, and that's what I think,
When you
we
say
made a
8.
mistake in our,
So I'm just letting you know that if it's an 8, it should be a little bit more.
there you go, maybe extra $2,000.
20,000. Oh, extra 2,000.
Over the 8. Oh, I made a motion?
And I second it
Oh,
for the 1/8 mil.
So it's gonna be 1/8 mil.
1/8, a genuine 1/8,
Okay.
subject to audit by the only guy who can add and subtract right. Okay?
Motion made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
I
Aye.
know,
I think that, all the other things will be filled in to make the numbers balance.
All right, so then you want me to leave the transfer from the general reserve fund
We're
to
transferring out of the general fund reserve
balance the budget.
to balance the budget, and
that's really unfair.
that's
I
what,
don't take money out of this, so that's just stupid, but, yeah, whatever, you guys vote, it's fine.
okay.
So what do you want to do with the liquor stores budget then?
Well,
Pass it.
I'm not sure where that's in.
On the back page.
On my back page. We have, the budget you put together had 75,000 that would be available out of the liquid fuels budget.
Are you looking at this page
I
5?
don't have that page. I
It
don't
should be
want-
part of
It should.
the whole budget you have right there, Bob. This is page 5. It's on page 5 of that.
Now look. There it is. Can't be perfect.
So. Okay, so under 438, the maintenance, 43805, that's where we have a difference. It's the brush tree debris removal safety section. I think Mr. Barlow was proposing some canopy work. Is that, you see that? Section? Where, Mr. Mr. Bostic and Mr. Jackson have $3,000, and Mr. Burley has an estimate of 12.
This line right here.
$438.05.
What are we doing?
We're looking at the liquid
Oh, we're
fuels.
down.
What are we doing about it?
Are we gonna vote on the liquid fuels budget?
No. It's, the liquid fuels budget is less than what we had coming in for liquid fuels. So everything here is covered in here.
No, but you have a difference in your budget line item, and I was trying to see what we were doing there. You see under 438.
Yeah, I know, but like I say, we didn't get those off topic, I don't know why we're even doing them now.
Do you wanna not work on the liquid fuels budget right now?
Oh, we can.
I mean, I don't know why we're doing it, it doesn't matter.
Well, the bottom line there is 77,000, which is,
Correct, the bottom line is 77,000.
so that's the amount that we have to be able to spend. Well, at least that's the amount, that's on this piece of paper, but that's in line with the,
Well, I guess we should go down to this, so.
I mean, if you, Mr. Butler, if you wanna do the $12,000, or I guess it's additional, what is that, 9,000 for the canopy work? It's just that you have a difference of, the other two supervisors are putting.
So I thought our purpose was to go ahead and approve the budget. This here is work within inside the budget.
This is not inside the general fund budget. It's a separate budget.
It is, but we don't have to approve this budget.
And we don't have to approve the liquid fuels budget?
I don't believe so. Do we? That's one that's.
we have not in the past, we probably should, but
We've just been doing this since I've been here, so I don't know. If you say we don't need to do it, then we don't need to do it. And if you want to just go ahead and vote.
I mean, if what you want to do is you want to sit here today and go and strike out stuff like the rent road jobs and stuff like that. We can do that. I don't know.
No, it would just be construction as a whole, but no, you're right. We'll just,
If the disagreement's only with that one.
well, it's just that there's transfers coming in on the income portion.
Wendy, the bottom line is, the bottom line according to this calculation that you made here is that we'll have 75,000. Actually, if we add the 2,000 back into the 18,000 for arithmetic error, it'll come to 20,000, so that'll be 77,000, and that actually be exactly what the budget is on the liquid fuels.
But those are two separate things.
Well, this was a calculation of how much we're going to have available to work on liquid fuels kind of work, roads,
Okay.
and
But we still have a conflict with line item
but
concerning brush tree.
we have these items down here also.
Yeah, I mean, the code says the Board of Supervisors shall annually prepare a proposed budget for all funds for the ensuing fiscal years. I mean, so that's part of your funds, liquid fuels.
Yes.
All right, well, I'll make it,
Let me ask you this, are you using the DCED form for the budget? It looks like it. No?
No,
You're not using the uniform report form then?
no. They don't send them
well,
out.
I will, if what you say is correct, then we have to make a budget on liquid fuels right now, and I'll make a proposal or a motion
Yeah, and that's
that
what this
that we
is saying.
spend $77,871.33 on liquid fuels for the coming year.
On items authorized by liquid fuel, roads,
Yeah,
That's fine.
yeah.
and that just happens to coincide with what the
Yeah.
previous calculation was that we would have available with that amount of tax.
Okay. Is that your motion then?
That's my motion.
I'll second that motion. All in favor?
Aye?
Aye.
Yeah.
And the others are savings funds, so. So a motion to advertise as the budget says prepared, or motion to advertise the intent
To adopt.
to adopt within the 20-day time frame. So,
Yes, I make that motion.
thank you.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Pardon, I didn't hear you.
Say that.
Aye.
Who's that, advertising?
All right. That settles that.
Hope you enjoyed this meeting there.
We're up.
Item C under old business. Driveway excavation ordinance amendment follow-up from April 16th meeting. I've slept since then. What did we decide? April
Well,
16th.
Do you wanna talk about it? We had, we were
Well,
looking into-
Mr. Bossick had proposed an amendment to the ordinance, I reviewed the ordinance, and we had some emails, Mr. Bossick, this had to deal with maintenance and repairs of the driveways, and I said, well, I think your ordinance adequately deals with this.
Oh,
And so Wendy sent me an email the other day saying, did we advertise for this amendment? And I went back and looked through my files, and I said, no, we decided to not do that, but I don't think a motion was actually made rescinding the motion from the April 16th meeting. Is that what you're looking for, Wendy?
Yeah, you were just gonna look into it, so it just says that you're looking into it, and then it just never happened, so I wanted just to mention it, at least in the meeting, that this has been resolved, and like you said, no action.
Okay, so we don't even need to make.
No, we don't, I just need to report in the minutes that we did look at it, it was resolved, and no action needs taken.
Okay.
Okay? Thank you.
thank you. Okay, I think we forgot to note on the agenda that we were going to discuss the bicycle path plan and,
I don't know, you told me that.
and the board voting to support Rich Luquette as our representative.
You did that previously, okay?
No, there was no motion made ever.
I never
He
made a
mentioned
motion.
it,
Okay.
he re-suggested it.
Yeah. Well, on that line, I'd like to make a motion that we appoint Rich Luquette to represent the Reed Township in the upcoming meetings concerning the bicycle path that they want to build from the battlefield in Gettysburg to the Maryland line. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Okay. All right, motion made and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Since you brought it, just for, it hasn't been scheduled yet, but they're looking at another public meeting by January timeframe. And when I get more info, I'll let people know.
Okay, yeah, that's the email I got too. Yeah.
Do
Okay.
they have did they change the path yet, or propose, they still haven't decided on a path?
Their tentative path is like down Middle Creek, across Lenshaw, down Stoltz, across Boyle, and down Irishtown.
Oh, I've got a question on that. Is they gonna take the berm and make the path, Wenshaw Road ain't wide enough for a bicycle path?
There are some roads that have lower traffic that they're proposing a share the road kind of thing. And other ones, long term, they're looking on some of the roads of actually building a bike path along the side of the road. Off the top of my head, I don't remember whether Wenshaw was one where there was a share the road or in the long run. In the short run, that was just a tentative.
It's not gonna be a cost.
That's okay, I'll be dead by the time it gets
The
there.
truth is, the long-term one, yes, you're probably true. So am I.
All right, moving on to new business. Zoning ordinance amendment hearing. Now, this pertains to the hearing that we had at the last meeting.
No,
This is the campground.
this is the actual campground amendment inside of the zoning ordinance, and it's in the packet. We advertised it.
I'll make a motion, we accept it as we amended.
Well, we have to have a hearing first.
Oh, I thought we already did.
Frog in the
No,
hungry.
no, not for the zoning ordinance. We had a hearing on the conditional use.
And, yeah, and the campground district park.
So I guess we need to recess and open the hearing, see if there's any testimony. I don't know if Darren wants to comment or not.
Okay, so I make a motion that we recess from the normal, from the workshop meeting. Thank you. Do I have a second?
I'm not sure what we're doing. Why are we recessing?
So that we can open a
Hearing.
hearing
Oh, okay.
concerning the campground ordinance.
The zoning. one.
Zoning ordinance.
The zoning ordinance.
We need to have a hearing for zoning ordinance.
So I asked for, I made a motion that we recess from the workshop meeting temporarily to conduct that business.
Second.
Motion made and seconded, all in favor? Aye.
Well, I'm just wondering, we're gonna have these other people sitting here waiting for us to have another.
No.
It's not good right now.
We're gonna do it right now.
We're doing
Dan.
it.
Were you gonna make it, you gonna know, does anybody have any comments?
This doesn't have to be a
Yeah.
closed meeting.
Okay.
Oh, okay, I agree then.
But if there's no comments.
There's no comments, so nobody's sworn in, then you can adjourn the hearing and go back to the meeting.
Publicly held.
I thought Darren was gonna have some comments.
No comments, Dan?
You made the amendment to the definition, you adopted that already, that's what I need. Beyond that, it's entirely your purview.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, close the hearing.
I misunderstood. Close the hearing quick.
Do you want to close the hearing?
I make a motion we close the hearing.
Well,
I'll second that motion.
Thank
so
you.
we're going to 12:13, 12:14.
Motion made and seconded, all in favor? Now, back to,
Now you can vote on the motion. And Mr. Barlow made a, well, I think.
I'll make a motion that we approve the amendments to the zoning, to the campground zoning amendments. Standards. File ORB 19-024.
I'll second that.
okay. Motion made and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Item B, Chief Hanson, end of employment probation.
I'll make a motion we make our chief permanent full-time employment.
I'll second that.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Conditional use hearing decision. Does this pertain to?
This is the dog room. Okay, you have that here, you have to do a decision. I prepared one, I tried not to make it real long, but the key part there is the conditions. I did add a condition that wasn't discussed, and that is that she has to comply with all other state and federal laws. I don't know if there's any state laws for a dog grooming business, probably not, but there may be someday. I went home and told my wife about this, she thought I was an idiot because I didn't know about dog grooming. So, that's the only thing I added.
Okay. All right, so we're recognizing your.
Yeah, well, that's your decision, it's your decision, you need to approve it, and I think there's a place for maybe, yeah, for y'all to sign.
I'll make a motion that we approve the application for the dog grooming business, per the conditions that were spelled out at the meeting, for septic system approval by the township engineer, operational hours, 8 AM to 3 PM, compliance with set forth in 427.1 of our ordinance book. It also complies with all state, local, and federal laws.
I'll second it.
Okay, thank you. Motion made and seconded, all in favor? Aye. consideration to adopt a CPA firm. Consideration of the proposals. I make a motion in lieu of our continuing settlement with the former Secretary Treasurer that we stay with SEK one more year. I think if we were to switch CPA firms now, that we may incur some cost with, bringing SEK back into the picture to testify or whatever. So that's my motion.
That's second. Go ahead.
You first.
You said
If you want to say it, you say it. I'll say it.
Motion made.
My mouth's getting tired.
Second.
Motion made and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay.
Can I pause the meeting real quick and have you sign this copy of the conditional use, and then that way when you're around,
You mean when I'll second or sign a big book, like I did last week?
So then I'll just mail that out to her.
Yeah, the order decision,
Yeah,
copy of
okay.
the, yeah. That way she knows what she needs to do.
Thank you.
All right, item E, community media request for franchise-free distribution.
Oh, I'd like to address that.
Okay.
We get about $8,000 a year out of Comcast for the privilege of giving service to our community. And originally, as part of that was supposed to go to community media. We have not paid anything, I think. Is that correct? Wendy, we have
Not as long as I've been.
we're not even on their records as collecting any, so their records are wrong. We invited them to come in here and tell us why we should subscribe and support community media. And they came in here and said, you gotta support us, we're gonna sink your ships in the sink if you don't help us. As opposed to saying, here's what we're doing for you. In other words, their presentation, in my opinion, was lousy, and I went back and told them, I said, you're not selling yourself, you're begging. And under those circumstances, I don't think we need to make a contribution this year. And I told them again 2 weeks ago, they gotta come in here and tell us why we should support community media. The survey in our taxpayers had exactly 0 people who ever even watched it.
I'll second the motion then.
Was that the form of a motion then, that we may not support? Okay. Motion made and seconded, all in favor? Aye.
Okay. Now, I was really tired.
All right, last item under new business, Pennsylvania Prison Society. A couple meetings ago, Richard Slyatt came before the board and asked for the township to consider a donation to convey prisoners from release to.
All of the stuff that this prison society does, provide clothes, transportation, visits into the prison, and help people get back into society, so to speak. Take them where they want to go. There's only the transporting part. Buying them a bus ticket falls into that. But after consideration, I don't see how the township taxpayers should be, if they wanted to donate, they could find out about the society by themselves.
Plus they have a prison ministry that goes on, that does a lot of this money.
The ministries send us money, that's true.
That's what the ministry sends money for this exact same program.
And the county also, I convinced the county to double their stipend to help us defray the cost of transportation.
Didn't you also indicate I think the
Yeah,
township
well-
can't do it anyhow.
Yeah, unless, but I see Mr. Bostic's got the code out there, so maybe he found some place where we can do it, that I missed.
No, I was going to say consideration of Richard's request, we cannot, because I found no section that allows for that sort of donation. We can, we can donate for surplus foods, community nursing services, mental health centers, hospitals, public safety, ambulances and rescue and life-saving services. Well, we currently support that, and regulation of dogs, which we, animal shelters. But no mention of
Human beings.
human beings.
So the Department of Aging as well, that just comes up sometimes as a request, so I'm just curious about that one. Would that not, because they always send a request for donation.
When you say Department of Aging, are you referring?
Adams County Department of Aging sends us the request, they say they, does anyone?
Well, they're useful, I use them.
No, I thought
I'm
that,
old for it.
that might come under.
Human services,
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
1535, yeah.
But that doesn't come under human services?
Sure it does, they're humans. I might not fit that description, but the inmates,
Yeah, but see, it said specifically, it's gotta be to expend federal general revenue sharing or general funds for social service programs for the poor, the disabled, and the aging.
Poor, disabled, and aging.
Now, I know that most of these.
They don't have criminal written in here.
Yeah.
well, they're not criminals when they get released.
That's all of it.
Well, individuals
They
with
might
criminal records, you know. No, look, I'm not gonna say, I think that what you're doing is great, because as we all know, many people who are released from prison, it's a very high recidivism rate, so anything you can do
That's what, you know,
to prevent that is a benefit to all of us. But talk to your local legislatures.
believe me, Mastriani's office knows about me right now.
Yeah. If you can get that in there. You know,
No, I'm just, it don't hurt to ask, we don't have to go belabor this, it don't hurt
Yeah,
to
We're not
ask.
belaboring it.
Well, I felt you were,
You know, I show up, I do what I say.
I felt like you deserved a response, and so.
I'm not surprised and I appreciate your honesty.
You're welcome. Okay, if there is no other business to conduct today, I move that we adjourn.